Recently, I challenged a fellow chess YouTuber for a game of chess. Let me show you what happened, as well as my thoughts and reflections. I was white, and my opponent played the Caro-Kann defense. Here I advanced my pawn. This is the advanced variation. And here I played Queen G4. So it's a less commonly played move, but it has been played by strong players, including Magnus Carlsen himself. The idea is simple. We put pressure on G7 so that this bishop can't come out. Black plays knight to C6, attacking the pawn on E5. I want to keep my pawn there, so I play bishop to B5, pinning the knight so he can't take the pawn. Now it's important to note that if black plays Queen A5, which attacks my king and the bishop at the same time, we simply just play Knight C3, breaking the check and controlling protecting our bishop at the same time. Here black played bishop takes pawn, so he may have just momentarily forgotten that his bishop was doing an important role by protecting the pawn on G7. So here I take the pawn, and unfortunately black's position does crumble here because there's no way for him to protect his rook on H8. He tried with king to E7, and I think the idea is just to guard this knight, which will need protection after I take the rook on H8. Attacking my bishop. Now, because I'm up on pieces, the most simple way to convert the advantage is by swapping off. The reason for that is once we get to the end game, I'll have more pieces. So bringing my piece to the attack, and here black resigned. He resigned because basically more pieces are going to be coming off very soon. So to stop this check, black might play F6, for example, and after bishop takes pawn, knight takes, queen takes. I'm very happy swapping off pieces, and I'll just have an extra rook at the end and a few extra pawns as well. So while the game ended fairly quickly, I thought there were some interesting lessons to be learned. So let's rewind and get to this part of the game. So here I played Queen G4. Now I had the benefit of knowing that this was a move in this position. But I must admit, when I first learned of this opening from my coach, it did feel a little bit unnatural at first, because as a child, I remembered one of my early coaches telling me that in the opening, the key is to develop your knights and the bishops, and this queen, it stays on its starting position. We don't want to move it out too early. So why is it that in this position, Queen G4, moving out your queen early, is a move, and it's a very playable move here? So I think the idea is often in the opening, we don't want to move our queen out too early because very easily it can be pushed away by our opponent's pieces. So for example, let's say in the opening here, would I want to play something like Queen G4? If I did play Queen G4, Black had a few options. He could simply play Knight F6, attacking my queen, or he might even just play D5, hitting my queen here with his bishop. Now this looks, to me, really good for Black because Black is controlling the center and then hitting my queen with his bishop. And then my queen will have to move away. And let's say if the queen moves to H5, Black just develops a piece, hits the queen again. If we turn back to the opening, now the key difference in this position is that I have a pawn on E5, and this is really important because of at least two reasons. So the first reason is that Black can't play knight to F6, attacking my queen, because the pawn is attacking the knight. And the other reason is that this pawn is on E6 already, meaning that this bishop can't attack the queen. So in this position, because it's not really feasible for Black to use his pieces to attack my queen, this queen is actually pretty good on G4. It actually restricts this bishop from developing, as we saw in the game. So that made me think, are there other chess openings where it's playable for us to move our queen out early in the opening? Let's take a look at another opening, the French defense. Now this is important. We've moved our pawn to E5, and there are some similarities with the game I had showed just moments earlier. So opening theory has it that White can play Queen G4 here. So why is that? I think it's for the same reasons as we had looked at earlier. So this queen is quite powerful on G4. It's attacking the pawn on G7. It's also not easy for Black to dislodge the queen. Usually Black would move his knight out to attack the queen, but he can't do that because we've got a pawn on E5. And this bishop, we don't need to worry about this bishop. There's a pawn on E6. So White does have some threats here. Also, let me show you this very quickly. When I was young, I used to play the French defense as Black. And I do remember that I had a couple of games where I had developed my queen out to B6 quite early. So let me show you. So Black can play Queen B6 now, or he might want to play Knight C6 first, Knight F3, and now Queen B6. So some of my opponents here move their bishop out. So for example, Bishop E3. And then I remember here thinking that I could just take the pawn on B2 and win a free pawn. And often it would be 2 pawns because I'm attacking the rook and White might develop his knight. So the queen is guarding the rook. And here I can take another pawn and I'll be 2 pawns up. Let me know what you think. Do you ever bring out your queen early in the opening? Thanks for watching. Until next time, play with patience, finish with grace.